Hello and welcome to another episode of the Back Post Podcast. Today, we've got a very, very spicy episode, don't we? We are going to be giving you the most overrated player from every single Premier League club. Now, overrated doesn't mean bad, does it, guys?
No, it's a recipe for disaster.
It is, yeah.
Should go down.
Just wind every single fan base up by telling them that their player's overrated.
Well, I mean, we seem to wind everyone up anyway, so there you go. We might as well do it even more. But if you are new here, we are trying to hit 10k subscribers by the start of the year. So if you could go and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Back to the episode.
All right, we're starting with Wolves.
Yeah.
Difficult one.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone rates us.
No one rates any Wolves players at the minute.
Seb, who have you got?
I've gone with Strand Larsen purely because he was linked to Newcastle for £60 million, which I thought was like genuinely outrageous at the time. I couldn't believe it. And that's not his fault. That's not their fault. I also do think he's slightly overrated in terms of, yes, he scored 12 goals last season, but still not hugely convinced he's an amazing striker. So, yeah. Tobes?
I've also gone Strand Larsen, same reasoning. Newcastle overrated him, so someone overrated him. He counts as overrated.
Yeah. I mean, I still
logic.
think like if you did put him in a better team, create more opportunities, maybe.
Yeah.
I've gone João Gomez, and the reason I've gone for him is that I've heard people rate him a lot.
Yeah.
I've not seen it this season personally, so it's like I'm not saying that he's not a quality player. Again, if he's surrounded by poor performances, maybe that it drags everyone down with it. But I've heard Wolves fans speak quite highly of him.
I still think he's their best player, probably, but he obviously you're going to get dragged down by the standards of the others around you. But yeah, it's very, very difficult.
Overrated doesn't mean bad.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean bad.
Exactly. Moving on to Burnley. Tobes, who have you got for Burnley?
I've gone Brozier because they paid us 20 million.
Does he even count as a Burnley player?
They paid 20 million. Burnley overrated him in paying 20 million for him. Is it a bit of a get out of jail free card? Yes, but how many Burnley players do you watch and go, cool, everyone's raving about him this week? They talk about Foster, but I kind of feel like he's all right.
Yeah.
So
I've gone Marcus Edwards because we've barely seen him. And I remember when he was playing in Portugal, I even saw him at the Emirates. I thought he was a really exciting player to watch.
Yeah.
I remember him moving to Burnley, and I've just barely seen him since. So I just think it's a shame.
Yeah, fair enough. I've got Jadon Anthony. Purely because scored a few goals from the start of this season. I've heard a lot of Burnley fans complain about his general performances.
Yeah, when he doesn't score.
So I think somebody like me has looked at him and gone, Jadon Anthony scored quite a few goals at the start of this season. I rate him quite highly. Seeing Burnley fans going, drop this guy, please. He's not been doing it. So that's why I've
you're
got
going to be commenting anger at your own pick.
Yeah, exactly. So if Burnley fans get angry at me, then that's your fault. West Ham.
Ward-Prowse, free kick merchant, not having it.
Is he still there?
I think he's still there. I was thinking this off air. I was like, I don't know if Ward-Prowse is still there. I think he is still there because he was on loan at Forest before and they brought him back. I
haven't seen him play anywhere else. So.
No,
I just feel like he was one of those players I always looked at as like,
yeah, literally.
As he's scored some free kicks, but I never rated him as a player.
Yeah, his overall, and he's been really poor the last year or so. So.
I've got Max Kilman.
I've also got Max Kilman.
Yeah.
Futsal merchant.
I feel like people just think he's their best defender. I think he's been their worst defender this season. I think he's been a horror show. And 40 million is insane.
That's overrated.
The money they paid for him in like a centre-back market where... I mean, and also I look at them, I'm like, does Mavropanos look any worse than Max Kilman?
No, he don't.
So, I just think he was overrated, overpriced.
I'm surprised Todibo didn't get in, because I feel like when he was coming, there was a bit of like...
He's actually been all right recently.
Like, so many French centre-backs have come to the Premier League, and not many of them have succeeded. I mean, you brought in Disassi, and that was maybe expected.
100%. Nottingham Forest?
I've gone with a club pick again. Like, they paid 40-odd million for Omari Hutchinson. They don't even play him. I don't think it is.
He's also 37.
Okay, it's 37 million for a backflip. I think that's what you've paid. Basically, he has a great celebration of Omari Hutchinson, but I think there's a reason why Arsenal and Chelsea didn't keep a hold. I think he's an all right.
But he's actually done all right for them so far. He got frozen out under Nuno, didn't he? In there, I think.
That was the thing. I don't think Nuno wanted him, and I think that was an Edu-driven thing that happened. Yeah. But I think he might work his way back.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I just think he is.
He's not in there.
Tad over it.
I don't think he's in their Conference League squad either, which was Europa League
because of Nuno.
I just think it's a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
That's all.
Who have you got?
I've got Matt Sells. I felt like Sells got very, very highly rated last season because of the clean sheets, because of the defence. And he was genuinely pulling out some unbelievable saves. This season, early on, I've seen big mistakes from him that I'm like, that last season was maybe a one-off, and you're not at the level of the other top keepers.
I hear that reasoning. That's fair. I've gone with Chris Wood. Because Chris Wood is shit at football. He scored a load of goals last season. Fair play to him, but I just don't rate him. Igor Jesus is a far better striker, and that's why he's now playing games for them. And I think Chris Wood has been holding the bench a lot more this season. So
he's got to hold that word.
Don't he?
Yeah, literally. Leeds.
Yeah, you kick us off.
Sean Longstaff, I've gone with for Leeds. Sean Longstaff has already proved that he is not in Leeds' best 11. Tanaka is better than him. Statch is better than him. Completely average. He's one of those signings where everyone went, good signing, like he'll help to keep him up. He's just a distinctly average footballer that I don't even think gets into Leeds' best team.
Is he not injured?
I don't care. I don't think he gets into their best team either way. So yeah, Sean Longstaff's just so average and he's overrated.
Fair enough. I've gone Joel Pirro. Because
that's a cop out.
That was like a cop out.
Over Pirro.
He was top scorer in the Championship last season, but actually the second half of the season did naff all. Apart from he scored 4 goals against someone, and outside of that did nothing.
Everyone knows he's not a Prem player.
No, but there weren't enough people that were there were enough people. There were enough people that were telling me, like Leeds fans, because this might just be a personal experience. I made a video saying Leeds will go down because they've not signed a good enough striker.
Yeah,
and fans in the comments were saying, well, Calvert-Lewin will do enough, and Joel Pirro will score enough goals because he's a goal scorer because he scored them in the Championship. Maybe that was just my comment section.
Going off
but that's all I can go on. And he
fair
is.
Enough, because he's a sloth. He looks like a sloth in the Premier League.
He's not a Premier League footballer.
It's hard. Again, a bit like the West Ham one. I don't even know if he's still there, but Meslier, just because I think Meslier should be fired.
That is the worst pick I've ever heard.
Everyone, no one rates Meslier, but people rate him even worse. No, but he's worse than terrible.
Have you heard a football fan in the last 2 years say he's anything other than terrible?
He's worse than that, though. That is the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen.
I feel that's
but I feel like him not being fired into the sun by Leeds United is overrated.
Right, so so the rest of the football world aren't actively seeking his death.
They're overrating him.
Right, okay. That was a cop-out.
All right, Theo Baker.
Yeah.
Fulham, Rory, do you want to kick us off?
I've gone Leno, and that pains me to say it because I really appreciated Leno as an ex-Arsenal player, but I feel like a lot of people, when they rank, if you just rank goalkeepers, a lot of people will put him top 10 in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure he still is at this point in time.
Yeah.
I think maybe under the radar a little bit, he's declined.
He's been a safe pair of hands for them for the last couple of
That's
years.
what I'm saying, but I'm not sure that he's even a safe pair of hands anymore.
Yeah, fair enough. Tobes?
I've gone Bassi.
So have I.
I think a lot of people do rate Bassi because he has some moments on the ball where he looks quite good.
It's so weird. People either really highly rate him or just don't rate him at all.
He's an incredibly physical player, and when you see him win physical duels against big strikers, you're like, oh, that's proper. But then there are moments where perhaps a smaller, trickier player can.
I was saying the smaller, tricky ones. I've seen him be on the slip and slide with those.
I just don't think he's great. I think positionally, he doesn't really instill confidence in you as a centre half, does he? So
I think that's fair. Brentford. I've gone Igor Thiago. I'm sorry. When they came to the Emirates the other night, that is the worst striker I've seen in my life.
That's harsh. You've seen Sonati.
I think we're all underrating.
I've seen Sonati. I'm sorry. He has scored 11 goals.
Yeah.
And credit to him. If he went the next 30 games without scoring a goal, it would not surprise me.
Do you not think he stretches the centre-back?
No, I don't know. I've never seen someone not stretch the centre-back as much as Thiago.
He stretches centre-backs.
No, he doesn't.
He stretched them out for 12 goals. I think people underrate him. You're looking and go, this guy must be crap. But
No, but he is. I'm sorry, he is. He came on and he looks like a League One footballer that's taken some.
Him as their most overrated.
Even the goals that he scores.
But this is everyone's
so unconvincing. I'm not, and I know he scored 11 goals.
Now there are some people who just go goals, good player.
Yeah.
I hear it.
He could very easily go 30 games without scoring and wouldn't surprise me.
This is Wood from last year.
Yeah, very.
I can't say anything.
Maybe I'm just ahead of the curve.
I think my pick's terrible, but I just don't rate him as highly as everybody else, and that's Kelleher.
Yeah, I like that.
He gets an incredible reputation in the Premier League
for playing.
He did at Liverpool.
It's only in our games. He wasn't even that good outside.
But he was always all right when he filled in for Alisson. But for at Brentford as well, he's been getting a lot of credit. He's a brilliant shot stopper, Kelleher. Amazing shot stopper. I mean, some of the saves for Ireland, especially last international break and stuff, can have these amazing games. I think as a goalkeeper, as an all-round goalkeeper, his distribution, his claiming of crosses in the penalty area. I just think he's quite weak in that regard sometimes, and I kind of think people just view him as this like, amazingly underrated goalkeeper.
I don't hate it.
I think he's a little bit overrated. A little bit overrated. Still a good goalkeeper though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Brentford fans aren't real, so I don't have much to go off here. So
you're not real.
Apologies to Brentford fan watching. That is not the opinion of the entire Backpack podcast.
Shout out Ollie for saying this midweek, but he compared Sharda to Mane and that he could be a better buy than Semenyo. It was along those lines. I think that's just overrating Sharda
When
himself.
did Ollie say that?
Ollie made a video where he said Sharda is the...
But don't buy Semenyo, buy the next Semenyo.
Don't buy Semenyo, buy Sharda, because he's the next Semenyo.
God, that's
I think
terrible.
just off that alone, people are over it.
Right.
Ollie Thomas stinker.
So I've got that.
Ollie Thomas versus Tobes. Sure.
He's an
athletically,
okay
right?
player.
He's rapid. He's really good in the air.
He's
And
not.
he has got a good finish in him, but it's not consistent. So
Brentford fans, I think, if they exist, get really, really frustrated with Sharda's lack of anything outside.
it's inconsistency.
For a goal, can score a goal. But yeah, for sure.
Bournemouth.
I've gone Kluivert, dad tax.
Don't say that about my best mate.
Yeah, look, I know hat-trick away at Newcastle. He had that real flurry of form. He has scored the odd banger. I'm describing a very good player here, but
yeah.
I just kind of feel like if he didn't have the name Kluivert, no one would really talk about him as much.
So
I think that's fair.
It's his fault that he was born.
He's not a bad player. I would say like.
I think it says a little bit the fact that he's been dropped and hasn't been playing as regularly in a time where Bournemouth are really, really struggling this season. Doesn't say a little bit, I think, but
yeah,
maybe.
My best mate, so I'm not going to criticise him. But
I was going to say you were paid by him.
I'm going to go Evan Nilsson.
Likewise, that's my pick as well.
They paid a lot. They pay a lot.
Paid a lot.
Where he stinks.
It stinks a little bit. I mean, there's recency bias because he missed an absolute sitter against you.
But that's been weekly this
But
season.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that's
against Sunderland, didn't
he? Yeah, it's become more and more common with him. And I think he did well last season. He won a lot of penalties and took a lot of penalties. But this season I don't think he's their best striker. I think Krupi is.
He should be the more regular
from what I've seen. So yeah,
from this point onwards. So
now on to
you and Kluivert, didn't you? Sorry.
So now into some of the more.
The
big hitters that might cause more anger, I feel. Manchester United. I got Bruno Fernandez.
Shock.
I think he's overrated. I just don't think he's one of... The reason I think he's overrated is we did a video with Zach Jalab recently.
Yes.
And Alice Talks Football said that Bruno Fernandez walks into any other Premier League team. No, he doesn't. That's fundamentally where I'm sat. And I think not many United players are actually that highly rated right now, but Bruno's still the one where a lot of people think, if you build the team around Bruno and you give him freedom and you let this happen and that happen, he's on the level of a Kevin De Bruyne. And I don't think I just don't think he is.
I still think he's outstanding. I wouldn't have him as overrated. But I think there's another side to Bruno where he gets bashed a lot. Like, he gets a lot of criticism and is scapegoated often when United aren't going through a good patch of form.
He still split the room, though, because there will be people that go, no, he goes toe-to-toe with De Bruyne. I've been hearing stuff like that. So
they're the people I'm contesting.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough. Like I said, not all these players are bad players.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, maybe you're going to throw up names I didn't think of, but I just don't think that many United
I went with a legacy one because he's not actually played for the last 9 months. That's Sandro Martinez. One of the most overrated defenders in the Premier League.
I forgot.
Honestly, the fact that man, I argued with United fans for years. He's better than Romero. No, he's not. Doesn't start for Argentina over Romero. He's nowhere near to Romero. He's now not even playing. Does he even get back in the best team with Luke Shaw now, fully fit? I don't think so.
Yeah, I concede that is a better shout than mine. I forgot he existed.
No, I appreciate that. Tobes?
I've gone. Look, he's in form at the moment.
No, he's justifying.
I am going with the João Felix of centre backs, and that is Matheus de Ligt. I think this guy limits how good a team you can be in terms of what kind of centre back he is. I think there's a reason why a lot of teams have got rid of the players that they have. They've got rid of him multiple times, top teams, because this guy is. There's a million de Lits out there. Like, this is not some amazing defender. He's playing very well, but I do think he limits how progressive you want to be.
But then I think
I think
he's dropped a level by going to Man United and found probably his level.
Yes, but the way people talk about him is as if like he is one of the best, and
he's been very good this year. Who's talking like De Ligt like he's one of the best anymore though? I'd say De Ligt has got.
but I know, but I think people do really rate him, and look, he did a brilliant.
I don't know.
Look, he joined at the chance with Ajax. I get it, but like he's just not that.
I think the general opinion of him has been so low over the last couple of years since he left Ajax.
No, but I think it's suddenly rejuvenated this season.
I think people said he's had a good season. He has.
He's had a good season.
He's warranted.
But I do think he's overrated.
I don't know.
It doesn't mean I think he's an awful player. I just think he caps your team. That kind of defender.
So he's actually told us off air he thinks he's terrible. So
I think Lisandro Martinez was actually the best shout.
I actually thought Luke Shaw you brought up was a shout.
Yeah, but that's
people
just
saying best left back in the world.
That's just injuries, though, isn't it? Like, he's a very good player, but it's just injuries.
Lisandro Martinez is also returning to a Premier League that is now more heavily set piece orientated than ever.
He's cooked. He's actually cooked. Newcastle.
Yeah.
Tobes.
I've gone another centre back. I've gone Botman.
Because I hate that.
No. I think that, like, naturally, I think Chow has looked like he's outstood him. I think Shah's been very good for Newcastle the last year or two. Botman, when he first came in, I think people went nuts, a bit overboard with him. I just think he's just a decent-ish centre back.
Do you think he was good last season?
Fairly, yeah.
Well, he was injured the whole season, so.
But no, he started it.
Yeah, I mean,
at the start, when
this is the thing. He had the ACL, and then he had
another big knee injury, didn't he?
Knee injury.
He came back from the ACL, and then I think that's what
but
the
people spoke
was.
about him as if like, oh yeah, but that's the reason Newcastle want this, whatever. And it's like,
well,
he's not some special centre back.
No, but I think he was a really high level centre back that, like,
he was
had he stayed fit, would be.
He was good.
Like,
I think Chow looks better already than Botman ever has.
That's so harsh because
no, it's not. It's not.
But when Botman came in,
he made them a Champions League.
Yeah, when Botman came in,
what were they last year without him? Champions League and a cup winning team.
No, fair enough.
He's not. I just don't think he's as outstanding. That's what I'm saying. Again, this isn't me going, oh, this is a bad player. This is just someone I think has been overrated.
No, but you've also got to take into account the general level that people think he's at, which is what I would say overrated is. And the general level people think Botman is at, it's just he's a good centre half. He starts.
People thought he was one of the best centre backs in the league,
but he was assuming that he might have been before the injuries.
For me,
I think that's harsh on him. I've gone with Anthony Elanga.
No one rates Elanga.
I thought
these are coward picks. That's why
no one rates Elanga. We hear about how he spoke. I mean, Newcastle fans when they signed him, Nottingham Forest fans last season as well. He was getting so much praise last season, Anthony Elanga. He was, I mean, the setup was so perfect for him because on the break, pace. Remember the United goal? He was getting so many plaudits. He is not that good of a footballer. Like, technically, his actual ability to, especially Newcastle now, trying to break down a low block. Not a great crosser. Not a good finisher really at all. Not great in terms of link-up play. Not a great passer. They signed him for £55 million. We signed Kudus for cheaper. Newcastle fans were telling me in the summer they'd made a better signing. Mental. Like, absolutely
mental. I can understand why they went in for Madueke, really.
But Madueke also better than Elanga. Yeah. Miles better.
I hear it on the transfer fee because I made a video, as most of us did, when that deal happened, saying that is an absurd price. Yeah. I had a lot of comments saying, no, that's the standard rate for a winger of his ability. And I'm like, it's not.
No.
And if it is, it shouldn't be.
He's a £30 million. Like,
how much was Johnson was around?
Johnson was. Oh, but Johnson was 50. No, he wasn't. He was 42.
Rounded up.
But also Johnson. I mean, you could say that overrated when he signed Spurs.
Yeah, like, similar.
Forest fans were actually kind of happy to get rid of him.
Yeah,
for some reason. But yeah. Tottenham next.
No, I haven't got my Newcastle pick yet. Oh, because I thought when you started with Anthony that we had agreed again, but I've gone from a different Anthony.
Yeah,
I've gone from Anthony Gordon.
I hear it.
I think he's been really poor this season. Yeah. I actually think he's been poor for the best part of a year. I think he's had a couple of England performances that have maybe masked the Newcastle performances. The output isn't there, and when you're hearing like Anthony Gordon's the nailed-on left winger for England in the World Cup and stuff like that, I just don't think he is.
There are right wingers I'd play over him on the left.
I think he's hard-working, and I think he can carry the ball.
Best diver I've ever seen.
Yeah,
as well.
I just don't.
As a compliment,
and the headband in the long trim.
Is it short hair? Gordon was good.
Yeah,
wasn't overrated.
Yeah.
It makes him look more nippy.
Ultimately, he's lost his place to Harvey Barnes.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
he's better at the weekend. To be fair, like hit the post and the bar. I think against Burnley, but again, it's Burnley at home. You should be performing to that level as a winger, really. But yeah, I mean, he scored a lot of penalties recently. He scored a pen against us. Scored a pen at the weekend. But yeah, generally his all-round performance has been really poor for about a year now, and yeah,
indeed,
that's totally fair.
If you could please subscribe, we're on the way to 10,000 subscribers, trying to hit it by the end of the year. Your support so far has been amazing. We appreciate it very much.
Tottenham, shall I kick us off for this one? My club.
Yeah,
I had a slash, but I'm going to pick one. I'm going to go João Paulinho. right now.
I agree.
My other one was Pedro Porro, because Pedro Porro, I rate as a player, should be so much better than he is given his qualities, but is actually, when you think about it, been really, really poor for Spurs for a number of months now. Paulinho I picked because people love a shin kicker. They love a midfielder that gets about, flies in.
I mean, they love Caicedo.
Yeah. Well, but
banter.
I feel like his Fulham days, the fact he got the Bayern Munich move, coming back to Spurs, I feel like a lot of people have said there was a big war on Spurs Twitter about Paulinho, and he does just limit us when he plays. And you've seen that now with Gray and Bentancur starting at the weekend. Our best midfield performance of the season. Our best midfield performances of the season have pretty much not included Paulinho. Early stages. And by the way, I think Paulinho can contribute something towards this squad. I would be quite upset now if we signed him permanently.
I mean, yeah, I've gone Paulinho as well. Within a few games, Spurs fans, not saying you, but Spurs fans were putting Paulinho in Rice Caicedo.
Oh, no. Sorry, I wasn't doing that.
No, you weren't doing that, but some were. But there was a lot of talk because and pulling out the he's won the ball back more than anyone else. Well, first of all, if you're winning the ball back that much, that's to do with your team not having the ball as much. And secondly,
fair point.
What's he then doing with the ball? And I think that's what they found out very quickly at Bayern Munich, because he had those same numbers at Fulham.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of winning the ball back and all that sort of stuff. And then he went to Bayern and it was like, yeah, but you have to be good on the ball.
Company instantly went no.
Exactly. And I think that was probably the big red flag. And I think now, even in the Premier League, he's not even ranking top for winning the ball back. I know that chart came out where it talked about ball progression and stuff like that. And I just think he got heavily overrated early doors.
It's fact. I'm so interested to see you use.
Oh, no, you're going to love this. James Maddison.
It's just bullshit.
It's not. The guy blows hot and cold an awful lot. And I like Maddison as a player, and that's why I think he's overrated, because he can be so great. He can have games where he just deconstructs teams at will, and that's what's so good about him. But he does do it very infrequently. I know he started last season.
Mainly due to injuries. I mean, when he's actually playing for us, he's fairly consistent.
Even to going down, he kind of ducked the fight a bit. I don't think...
Agree with that.
It's not something that's just because it's Spurs or whatever. Like, I've always felt that with Maddison, where I'm like, if you could do that more consistently, what a player you'd be. But I think people talk about it as if he does do it that consistently.
That's fair, but he gets absolute pelters. He
does, but people do also overrate him. So I'd say.
But who's overrating James Maddison in 2025?
Maybe some Spurs fans still do a little bit. Yeah,
I think it's more about how important he was to us, which is why he.
Yeah, but when your team is good, he's great. When your team is struggling, he goes missing.
Wasn't really true last season, though. There were multiple games last season, especially in the Europa League, where we were playing really, really badly, where then James Maddison drops deeper, starts dictating. I think that his all-round game, the influence he actually has on a game of football, is underrated. I think maybe in terms of final third, attacking midfielder, the actual big moments he comes up with, you could call that into question for sure. And I did in his first season at Spurs, actually. And the kind of problem I always had with James Maddison was he's a big talker, especially before. I remember there was one, I think it was before the North London derby last season, comes out, talks about the fight you want to show, and then the performances don't quite match it. Is that always his fault? No.
I also thought he was the only bloke actually standing front for Spurs last season, doing those interviews and stuff.
Fully.
And it was a tough period.
I rate James Maddison highly, and I like him as a character. I think he's great for our squad, and you have noticed the impact of him not being there, but... maybe. I mean,
no, I said, part of it does stem from how good he can be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he wouldn't be my number one overrated, but perhaps unfulfilled potential.
Yeah, there you go. Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, every single member of their squad so far. Going into, if you judge the rating of that squad before the start of the season compared to what we've seen, I mean, you could name anyone. I've gone Isak. I thought the fee originally. I know it feels like low hanging fruit because of the season he's had. But I felt the fee was well above what I would have paid for it.
It's extortionate, yeah.
It was 140 mil, right, basically?
Yeah.
For me, 100 mil would have been, that's on the limit. And it's weird because it's over 100. It almost seems like that. 40 million overpay, minimum. If you paid 60 mil for a 20 mil player, you'd be like, what on earth are you doing? And that's what I feel like they've done.
Yeah.
And I also just think... There was legitimate concern about taking him out of a Newcastle squad that everything was designed for him, and Arne Slot himself has said that by incredibly coming out and saying that Liverpool don't have a Jacob Murphy.
My head would go.
That's insane, but it's a fair point. Is that they don't have a Jacob Murphy,
But all that means is we don't have a winger, because they've got two wingers who are very much quite selfish, like to cut inside, like to get on the end of things. They just don't have a creator.
Frimpong's kind of a Jacob Murphy.
But what I'm saying is, he's 100.
You can't find a Jacob Murphy. What's going on?
It is an 140 million. And bear in mind, let's be real here. People at the end of last season were suggesting Isak was a better striker than Erling Haaland, right? They were.
And am I correct? He's the third most expensive player of all time.
Yeah. And suggesting that he was, and this is my biggest thing, right? The argument that he was as good or better than Erling Haaland, if that was the case, he would come into this Liverpool team and he would not need everyone to be facilitating him. And if they were, as they were at Newcastle, he would be scoring 40-plus goals. Yeah. Not the amount that he scored last season.
I still personally have absolutely no doubts that he's going to bang for Liverpool. Like, I still think he's an elite striker.
But that doesn't mean he won't bang and still not be overrated.
How much does he have to bang to be worth the money?
True.
And to be,
you're looking at 30, 40 goals a season.
You're looking at compete with Haaland.
Yeah, you're looking at Haaland.
I can't argue with that logic, really. I'm going to get flamed for this.
We're all good.
I'm going to get absolutely flamed for this. For Liverpool, and you're going to have to hear me out big time with my
There's a lot of prefacing.
I've gone with their best player this season, Dominic Szoboszlai. Now, the reason I've gone with Szoboszlai is because I think that he as a player has a very high floor, but a lower ceiling than a lot of the other players in that Liverpool squad. I think that he looks brilliant right now, and Liverpool going through a tough moment, because I think that his basics as a footballer, the engine, the quality he's got on the ball, kind of like they don't really drop below a certain level. He's like Liverpool's Valverde for me. But I think once Liverpool get a new manager in, start cracking their system a little bit more, whatever, I think you'll start looking at Dominic Szoboszlai and wanting a little bit more again, personally. But I also think he's moulded himself into this midfielder who is a little bit more box to box and not the attacking midfielder people thought he was when they brought him in. But I also think that people saying he's been the best player in the Premier League this season are just wrong. So
yeah.
Yes, George Schaefer said that.
Okay, George Schaefer.
So,
I think that's a hard. I think of all of the players at Liverpool that you could have picked, I think that is.
I get it though, because but that's the one that's still rated. And whereas last year when things were going well, people were going, we need a vert.
I said last season consistently that I wanted more from Szoboszlai. Like, I thought what he gave them out of possession is good because he covers for Salah and stuff, but I wanted a lot more from him going the other way. He's kind of provided that a little bit this season, ironically, but I don't know what it is. I looked at Liverpool squad and thought everyone's just been calling them shit for the last couple of months, so it's difficult to pick one. And I just think I think that once Liverpool settle into their rhythm again, I don't think that he'll get the praise that he's currently getting. That's what I'm going to say.
Fair enough. I am not with you on that one, but
I'm going to get absolutely killed for that.
Yeah, that's all right. I've gone with Mo Salah, and the reason I've gone with Mo Salah was not because I don't think he's a great player and an all-timer in the Premier League. I definitely do. But it was last year, there were a lot of points where I heard conversations about him competing with Henry as like the all-time Premier League best player. It's better than than Ronaldo's 07-08 season and stuff like that. I'm like, that he's not that. Let's not revise that. And the numbers he's delivered has been phenomenal for years and years. But like loads of players have also done that, while giving a bit more in other senses as a player. I think he's fantastic. But when I was hearing like last season, I genuinely remember that being discourse and just rolling my eyes.
Totally fair.
Yeah. I did have a little outside shout for Conor Bradley in that one.
Shout out Kirkez as well, fullback of the year last year.
Everyone thinks he's terrible.
No, but last year he got in the team of the season.
Conor Bradley's the one that under the radar, I think.
Yeah, that's a nice shout for
average player.
Yeah.
And had two good games against Mbappe and whoever the other one was. I think he had another good game, but might have done.
Thanks for the insight.
Liverpool was sport for choice there.
Yeah,
Sunderland,
complete opposite.
Yeah,
there's an argument that every single Sunderland player this season has overperformed on what was expected of them.
Yeah,
so it's a really difficult one to do.
Yeah, I didn't like picking this because.
Have you gone with?
Yeah. I've tried to go ahead of the curve here.
You're predicting a fall off.
Yes.
Here we go.
In terms of the same reason Sells was rated so highly last season.
Okay, Roos.
I've gone with Roos, not because I don't think he's been fantastic this season. He has. I've just seen some people saying he's been the best keeper in the league this season. I'm like, they sit a lot further back.
Yeah.
Like, Sells had that kind of joy.
There's always an angel with these.
Manson was the one that's had that before. Manson at Leicester when he was pulling off world.
And that was one of the worst keepers I've ever seen start the season for West Ham.
When you get peppered, you get an angel.
Not saying that will happen to Roos, but like...
Yeah, exactly.
Roos is such a difficult one.
Talented goalkeeper, I'd say. But yeah,
it's hard with Sunderland.
It's very...
Yeah, again, hard for me. The player I've gone with... again, I literally couldn't pick. So I went with Trey Hume at right back. Do you know the only reason I did this was because he got so much praise for some weird reason for that tackle, Morgan Rogers, player who loves a big challenge. He's played a lot of right back for them this season. Obviously, there's been a lot of players who've sort of come in and out of that side of Sunderland. They've got a lot of decent squad depth, but I was just like, when I've watched Sunderland, I thought he is the one that looks championship being carried by a lot of other brilliant players around him. So, not to say he's not a decent footballer and not had a decent season, but yeah, gone Trey Hume.
Fair enough. I've gone Wilson Isidore.
Oh no.
The only reason I've done it is because I couldn't pick one, and he should have scored the winner.
I really like his.
No, I like him.
They are.
Yeah. He should have scored the winner against Liverpool, and he didn't.
I can't say anything after I picked Szoboszlai. So
but ultimately, I'd really struggled with that one. Yeah. So
that was a tough one. No one's overrated at Sunderland currently. I'd say.
There you go, Brighton. Now this is an interesting one because
I feel so passionate about this.
I feel passionate about mine.
Oh,
have we got the same?
I don't feel that passionately, so I'll let you two.
I've gone with Lewis Dunk.
I did not go Lewis.
Lewis Dunk has been one of the most overrated defenders in the Premier League for the last 4 or 5 years, I'd say. I just think he's got a big mistake in him. He's distinctly average because he puts his stud on the ball occasionally. Everyone thinks he's brilliant, and obviously I'm being a little bit over the top. He has been great for Brighton throughout their Premier League career, and he has had some really, really good seasons, but I think especially now, people just look at him and go, oh, that's Lewis Dunk. He starts for Brighton every week. He's terrible now. Like, he's cost them big time so many times this season. I think his form's levelled out a little bit now, but I think if they partnered Van Hecker with a centre-half of equal quality, you'd see a noticeable jump in that Brighton team. So, yeah, that's what I've gone with.
Fair. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, fair.
I don't mind.
Is Dunk that... But I feel like Dunk for me is just like a standard...
He got an England call up.
Yeah, he did get an England call up.
That's insane. And I just feel like people go, oh, he's Lewis Dunk, he's fine. He's their captain, like, he's all right.
I think Lewis Dunk is fine.
No, he's not fine. I think he's so not fine.
Okay,
anyway,
well, fair enough.
Who do you feel passionately about?
I think he needs to go back to reading his own thesis. I think Matoma is so overrated.
Ooh.
I think Matoma is one of those players,
What?
I'd say blow hot and cold. It's barely ever hot.
Do you know what? Low key, I have wanted more from him.
I'm not going to lie. With Matoma, I think part of it was that he wrote an essay on dribbling, because I don't see him. He doesn't deliver numbers nor consistency, nor outside the numbers. It's not just an outside the numbers thing. In terms of a game, I very rarely feel like he affects the game like a Ruta has in the past, how Minter affects the game now. I don't think Matoma really does that ever on a consistent basis. And there was a period where people really were hot on Matoma.
I think it's harsh. He's had a lot of injury problems. I think that...
I don't think he's ever been that guy.
I agree with you in terms of I think that there's a level to be stepped up there with Matoma and the fundamentals he has as a winger that he hasn't gone to.
I think he was probably never any better than Trossard, and perhaps there was a point where people rated him more highly.
He's just more fun than Trossard, really.
Yeah. So Trossard looks like he's just woken up every day. Yeah. I've gone Baleba.
I knew you'd go Baleba.
Oh, sorry, mate. United fans were not even United fans. I got sucked into it myself, saying that United should just go and splash the cash on him, and I think there was
a poor season.
I think and it's not even just about the poor season, and it hindsight's easy, but he had a very good season at Brighton. I don't think that season was anywhere near, looking back, the level that Caicedo had probably hit when he went for a similar fee. McAllister, a lot cheaper, different player, but Baleba, I don't think his offensive output is there with Caicedo's. Offensive output in terms of.
He's a deer,
scoring. Yeah, but even Caicedo pops up with these long range strikes. Don't think Baleba's necessarily got that in soccer. I think he's way more. As much as Caicedo got sent off, I think Baleba's more rash than Caicedo.
Yeah.
And I just think ultimately he's not £100 million player. It's
off the pace.
But when Brighton slapped £100 million price tag on Evan Ferguson,
it's that
and I feel like with Brighton, okay, Caicedo's probably proven his worth, but I do feel like sometimes Brighton, you just go, okay, if they've had 6 good months of Brighton and they stick £100 million price tag on him,
this is the thing.
Give it one more season, because his price probably isn't going to go any further up.
Yeah, and the thing with Caicedo is that he actually had a couple of years at Brighton.
Exactly, that's what
Baleba's only had last year, really, and then.
And I do genuinely think a lot of people just went, "Oh, that's the next Caicedo."
Yeah,
that's the next Caicedo.
I think that I still think he's very good, and I think that he will be. I think he'll have a brilliant career.
But it's just overrating. You said in the summer,
but right now,
100 million fees.
He's been hooked at half time basically every game this season.
No good.
And I don't think he's helped by the fact that he's paired with Ayari, who's a very good player, but in terms of physicality,
a little bit lightweight.
It is just him, I think.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
Everton.
I wonder if this is the first clean sweep
for Everton.
Who have you gone for?
I've gone Grealish.
I've gone Grealish.
Oh, I've gone Tyler Dibley.
Okay. Oh,
What?
Yeah, he
hasn't played for him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
People were excited about Tyler Dibbling, though.
He's 18.
No, I'm not saying. But remember, this is overrated,
so
right?
hard.
Yeah.
But this is overrated. I'm not saying he's a bad player. In fact, I actually really enjoyed watching him against Arsenal last season, which was the only real time I can say I properly sat down and watched him. The issue was he was being touted as a 60, 70 million pound player, which they were never going to get for him. They didn't get for him. He goes to Everton. And he struggled to break in, and
but that's just Southampton protecting himself.
That's Southampton protecting that, yeah. But he's moved to Everton, and I think I'm looking at Everton, and they've been brilliant. And Ndiaye's looked great. Grealish, you're going to say is overrated. I'm like, well, is there a shout that maybe Dibbling should be pushing to get in there? And I think
that's always been a dinosaur.
Maybe it's always been
a dinosaur. I do hear it though.
Dibley's an incredibly talented footballer.
Yeah,
he is, but it's a bit like I went Hutchinson. It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
for someone who's not
maybe
playing.
Maybe it is more related to Moyes and the situation at Everton. But I felt like that move from Southampton to Everton was okay. He's going to get good Premier League minutes next season, and he's not. And I think that's disappointing.
Yeah, fair enough.
I also think, by the way, Everton are in what, 6th?
Yeah, it's very.
Everton have had a very good season. I even think Jack Grealish has been good. So
I just think the way people gas him up, and it's because people want him to do well, right? I want Jack Grealish to do well. Love Jack Grealish. I do think he's a good footballer. He's not playing a much different role to what he's playing at City. And it's like, just because he's not at City anymore, it's like, oh, freedom. The shackles are off. I've watched him quite a few times this season be fairly ineffective for for Everton. A lot of his assists have kind of been, I mean, he nearly got an assist again at the weekend where it's kind of like dribble, pass back to Dewsbury Hall hits the post from outside the box. There's been a lot of that kind of thing, which is reminiscent of what you saw at City. He's not been lighting up Premier League games in the way that a lot of people would tell you that he has been. The one that annoyed me the most was Crystal Palace versus Everton, where Everton won it in the last minute. Grealish had it kicked in off his own shin, and he gets all the praise post-match, and Ndiaye was the reason they got back into that game.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think there was even one, I think it was early in the season was my more problem with Grealish being overrated, was there was even an assist where he played it to the edge of the box and someone scored from like 20-odd yards. And Grealish got an assist.
Yeah, it's like after 4 games, you're going, oh my God, Jack Grealish got the most assists.
I just think that when I watch Everton going forward, I think that Dewsbury Hall and Ndiaye are quite easily considerably larger factors for why they've been quite good.
And I think that they should not sign Grealish permanently. I think that would be a big mistake for Everton.
And maybe the breakthrough for Tyler Dibbling there.
That's what I want to see. This is not, maybe I was harsh on Dibbling, but I wanted to see more from a player that there was a lot of excitement, and rightfully a lot of excitement around, and I've just not seen.
Fair enough. Okay.
Chelsea.
I've gone with Enzo Fernandez for Chelsea. And again, you talk about a player blowing hot and cold. I do think with Enzo, and obviously you'll know this better than me, you watch 90 minutes week in, week out. There's so many games where I watch him and I think he's just not really done much.
Yeah.
Like, just drifts through games sometimes. I don't think he's great in the number 10 role, despite I like him in that 8 role next to Caicedo, where he's given the licence to go on and crash the box and pop up with important goals and stuff. And he has been a lot better over the last 18 months than he was when he first joined you. But, I mean, again, it's some of the conversations that I'm seeing him put in. It's some of the sort of ratings that he's been given, not by you. You actually are fairly realistic about him, I think. And I think at the moment he is still a fairly inconsistent player who can pop up with big moments, big goals and big performances. But, again, want to see that on a more consistent basis. And he's still a midfielder that costs well over 100 million quid.
I think he's one of those players that I think people overrate and underrate.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's kind of where he sits. I'm not against that because people definitely do over him as well.
Yeah,
I criticise Salah about some of his performances.
He's probably fairly rated, Enzo. Like
he's in the middle of what most people think.
Yeah,
but he'll never get away from the price tag that he'll probably never justify.
Yeah,
which is difficult.
Yeah.
I've gone Pedro Neto, which I'm not like. I don't really back it. But I just don't. I think Pedro Neto is like a decent winger. He's got pace. And I don't think he's much more.
I'd say he's one of Chelsea's most underrated footballers.
Yeah, our fan base underrates him a bit, but he can be frustrating.
I've heard a lot of people saying that,
which pelters for his goal numbers and stuff.
Well, yeah, but you saying what you've just said is kind of why I feel like
he's got like 5 goals in the league this season. Like,
no, he's had a good season. He's had a good season, but it's still only 5 goals, and I do feel like there are a lot of opportunities where. Like,
but if Saka scored
only
5
goals, doesn't Saka only have 5 goals as well, or less than that?
I don't think the conversation.
It's got less than that, isn't it?
No,
and that's without pen.
Straight off the bat, I don't feel passionately about this particular one anyway.
Destroy the set, mate.
He can be
But he was
frustrating.
also-
I just think within our own fan base, I don't know, maybe outside of our fan base, is he overrated? I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't that passionate. I mean, he was also like fairly expensive for what
Get
he's
passionate about him.
given you. So
Yeah, I know. I
I
get
think-
it. I'm not anti either of them.
Yeah. I mean, he was very highly rated at Wolves, I'd say, which was obviously might play into it. But yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, again, I don't feel strongly about that either, really. But
The answer I can reveal to you is it's Lavia. Lavia is the most overrated player at Chelsea. Lavia has had about 10 games for Chelsea.
he's just injured. Like,
But
do you not feel sorry for him?
of course I feel sorry for him that he's injured, but my problem is more, even in his performances, and there have been some good ones, in the minimal amount of games we have, he has had some games where they will pass him by and he's not breaking up the game the same way that Casado does. He looks lovely on the turn. He passes the aesthetic test a lot, but because of the injuries, his game's stagnated to the point that he hasn't had any
it
development.
must have done like
And now I kind of think that people are still looking at him as the Lavia we got 2 or 3 years ago, when it's like, well, he's still that, but he's now 2 or 3 years older.
Chelsea are also better than you were when you brought him in. So I think like the impact that he can actually, I do think that there's definitely an argument that everyone still goes, oh, if they get Lavia back and fit and fiery, that'll like
And I hope
take you up another level, and maybe it will. But there's
I was
also
about to argue with you, but
plans.
maybe that's why he's overrated. Because we're just not really seeing anything from him.
Yeah, I think
years.
that's why. Is the minimal people are seeing people are like, oh wow, he looks so good on the turn. I'm like,
Do you know what? Genuinely, when you came to us last season, when you beat us 4-3,
he was great.
that was one of the
first
best
half.
first half performances I've genuinely seen from a player out on New Stadium.
You give him space like that, but I've also seen him have games where I'm like, oh, he looked really off it.
He was off it against Forest earlier on the season.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's probably, I mean, a lot of the off it stuff will probably be because of fitness, but yeah.
If you could please subscribe, we're on the way to 10,000 subscribers, trying to hit it by the end of the year. Your support so far has been amazing. We appreciate it very much. Palace might be one we've all agreed on.
Jean-Philippe Mateta.
I've gone Mateta.
And not because I don't really, really, really rate him as a footballer, because I do really rate him, but he's been really poor in front of goal this season.
Yeah.
And I just think he now, because he's such a lovable character and he is really good outside of the goals, because a striker gives you so much outside of the goals. But I just think when I'm seeing people, and I genuinely am seeing people doing that, and I've done it myself at times, put him in like top 3-4 strikers in the league kind of conversations. It's maybe a little bit crazy.
Yeah, have you gone Mateta or not?
No, I've gone Dean Henderson.
Okay.
I think people really rate him, and I think
I rate him.
Yeah, he's all right, but like, look, we all enjoyed that Palace FA Cup final win. We all loved it. He should have cost them the cup final.
Well, possibly.
Yeah, that is a rare mistake for him over the last 2 years.
I don't think it is that rare. I think he's a decent keeper, but when I've seen him, kind of people say, oh, maybe he should be England keeper, or he's one of the best keepers in the league. I'm like, all right, let's not get
There's a shout for him to be England number one. Like, it won't be because of what Pickford's done for England, but right now, if you look at their performances, it's very tight between those two.
Possibly.
Like I said, Palace for me was a Sunderland where I'm like, I kind of rate all of Palace.
I thought Mateta was quite an easy one for me. I felt like
Mateta is such a handful.
No,
he does score goals.
Yeah, he's a handful and he scores goals.
Really rate him, but
I think he went on a real hot streak last year, which elevated him perhaps to a level that he's not actually at.
Yeah.
And over the summer, when you were hearing, I was hearing Arsenal fans saying we should go for Mateta. I was hearing
there's a lot of that. Yeah.
Top teams fans saying we should go for Mateta, and I don't think he would make top teams better.
I don't think he scales up to like a top level.
No, that's kind of my
fair. But I kind of just feel that about Henderson, because we've all had United had a keeper issue. They had Henderson. Like we've had a keeper issue, but I've never thought Henderson's
again. It's tough with Palace because they're most overrated player left in the summer. So, but we'll go on to that in a minute. Aston Villa,
Emi Martinez. And I don't even think fans overrate him anymore, but if I see him win one more goalkeeper of the year award for pulling off it, and he will, by the way, it's a World Cup year. So strap in, because he'll make a good penalty save in the World Cup, and everyone will go, "Oh, he's amazing."
I think he's become so popular to say that he's overrated.
It has, but rightfully so, because he is still winning awards.
I've gone with the most overrated striker in the last decade in the Premier League, Ollie Watkins. I've consistently said he's overrated, and again, it's one of those a bit similar to Mateta. What he gives you off the ball as a striker, amazing, right? Running the channels, one of the best for that in terms of his movement in the Premier League. He is just not elite in front of goal. And he's had one elite season, which was last year or the year before? Year before last, where he was, oh my God, just hit every week, like scoring goals, scoring bags of goals, I think he was top assister in the league as well. and like amazing that season. I think from that season people started rating him at that level, and again, he's never been that level at any other time in his career.
Yeah, well, he had the season, and then he scored in the Euro semi-final, which was a huge moment.
A huge goal as well. And don't get me wrong, still a good striker, like a good Premier League striker who I like, but...
It's just an overrating thing.
Yeah. There you go. So...
I went Onana, who's playing really well at the moment.
Yeah, I like it.
I do, but I remember seeing some of the...
I think he's class.
Some of our fans have been like, we should have got him over Caicedo. And I'm like...
Oh, no, that's over it.
No, but I remember reading that and just thinking... Right, okay, let's strap in and watch this guy. And that was at Everton.
He's not as good as Kamara. He's not as good as Kamara and Tielemans.
I think Kamara and Tielemans.
But then I think both of those two are underrated.
Yeah,
less so than Onana's over.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Onana is a bit more of a theory player. Sometimes I do think as well. People look at like more just what their athletic ability is and get carried away with like the idea of what the player can become. And I don't think Onana is just that yet.
No, but I do think
like,
player,
even at Everton,
when you've got that athletic ability and you've got ability on the ball as a midfielder, I do think it naturally
he's not that great on the ball.
I've seen him a lot of thinkers.
He's on one of his sides. I think he's decent on the ball.
For a player they signed last summer for 50 million, this period in this season, the last 6-7 games,
he's gotten dropped last year.
This has been the first. At least I didn't fully commit.
Yeah.
This period has been the first time in his Villa career where I've really seen consistency from him, and that's been injuries as well, which you've got to take into account. But yeah, I don't know. He's a tough one. I'd like to see how I feel at the end of the season.
It's just that I think there's a bit of overrating.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
City,
Ruben Dias,
Donnarumma.
That was the one you said was easy. You went with Donnarumma.
Donnarumma's easily overrated, yeah.
I think this calendar year
he still really has
good.
To an extent, he has games where he looks incredible.
How overrated?
But he also he's already cost City a fair number of goals this season from flapping at crosses, which for me
he should be better.
The issue I have with Donnarumma is I have said for the last 5 years Donnarumma has these flaws, claiming crosses, ball at his feet, and I don't think he's fixed either of them. And I think there's a reason PSG let him go in the way they did. I think there's a reason, by the way, a lot of people before the performances in the Champions League last season,
I didn't rate him. No, I thought it was crap.
I thought he was terrible.
So did I.
But that's what I'm saying. Is he a bit of an Emi Martinez where he can pull off, because of his height and his athleticism, he can pull off some amazing saves.
Yeah.
But I do just think he can put you right under the cosh by just coming and flapping for a corner that he doesn't need to.
I hear it.
We saw against Fulham, they came away with a win, but yeah, I just think I don't think he's one of the top keepers in the league.
I like him.
And I think he joined the Premier League, and immediately people were putting him on like Alisson level goalkeeper.
Yeah, I like agree with you. The only reason I went Diaz was because he's one of those players that I feel like people actually don't know how good he is. If you get what I mean, people go, "Oh, Ruben Diaz, he's City's captain. He's just always going to be in like top 5 centre backs in the league conversations." It's like often when I watch City, I just don't think he's that like assuring. I think Gvardiol's got a much higher ceiling as a centre half. Diaz is also
Laporte was better as well.
Yeah, I think Laporte was better than Diaz
at his peak. Laporte was far better,
and Diaz is great. Like he's a good centre half, he's a really good centre half, but in terms of like that world-class elite level that you've seen Saliba, Gabriel, Van Dijk, all that, which has won Liverpool the title, had Arsenal in the title conversation for years, and obviously Diaz has won a lot of titles for City, but I don't think that he has ever been...
He can't carry another centre-back with him in the way that a Van Dijk can, even like Gabriel and Saliba, if you swap one of them out. I think. No, I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, I've gone just off week 1, Reinders. And I honestly think the way people were speaking around Reinders, myself included, it was like the second coming of Gundogan. And then as the season's gone on, and even before, I think last season he had incredible output for AC Milan, but he'd never had that in his career, so it seemed like a bit of an anomaly.
He's brilliant for AC Milan for obviously I don't watch loads of the Serie A, but by all accounts was unreal for them for the last couple of years. I think with it, never judge a Pep signing on the first 6 months, like ever.
No, but it's almost the other way around. It's like if you start good, like Marmoush and Reinders, it means you're going to be bad, and if you start slow,
they always start well. They always have a couple of games, and then they're gone for 6 months.
I don't hate it, but the first game, like the internet went berserk about
it. Played insane.
Yeah,
but yeah, I
liked the goal that he scored. Was against Fulham the other day. A little dink. Yeah. But maybe he's not quite the level that people...
He looks quite aesthetic, but I don't think he impacts games in the same way, like the past Gundogans, etc. And to liken him to Gundogan is unfair on him. But
I think he will do, but maybe for now. Fair. Arsenal, Rory, I'll let you take the lead on this one. I know it pains to do it because you're so utterly deluded about it.
No,
but
I do find it difficult. I think Mikel Merino has become overrated in terms of
maybe
I started hearing people say, well, when Gyökeres and Havertz are fit, does Merino still start? No. And it just doesn't. And for me, what he has done in the way that he's stepped up, like, unbelievable respect. Like, this year, 2025 could be like a cult hero year for him.
Yeah.
But we lose a lot of what Havertz and Gyökeres offer when Merino starts up top. He's a last action player. He will get on the end of a header, and the movement for it will be good. But you can go through an entire half like we did in the first half against Villa, where it's almost
anonymous.
So I think people suddenly saying, well, actually, is he like a striker and could he compete as a striker?
I reckon the chant carries them forward a bit as well, because I feel like Arsenal always hear them singing that one.
Yeah. He's been the only fan scoring goals for us.
Yeah.
Willian kind of got a bit with that.
Yeah.
I've gone with No, I haven't. I've gone with Eberechi Eze. And the reason I've gone with Eberechi is because I'm a salty little Spurs fan who wanted to put Eze in. And I genuinely do think, though, he's just overrated. That's really all I've got to say. Massively so.
You've come with so much information there.
He's had 3 good games this season. The rest of it, he stunk. So,
he's patchy at Palace as well.
Genuinely, first 6 months of last season, there were some Palace fans calling for him to be dropped. And I do think that he is the kind of player who you are not... He's not a week in, week out player, like, going to deliver you 8 out of 10s. He's very much a 9 out of 10 and then a 4 out of 10 the next week. Like, maybe 4's hard, but...
I just think when you had your bucket hat on and you thought you were...
that plays into it too.
Yeah.
I don't...
You weren't talking about the 4 out of 10 performances then?
I was just thinking his celebration's embarrassing, to be honest with you.
You're so salty.
To be honest, this is a big compliment to the guy who stands alongside him. I think Saliba's the most overrated. Not because I don't think he's great, I do, but I thought for a number of years Gabriel's been the better of the two quite comfortably. Maybe that's a bit of preference in terms of my kind of centre-back, but I do feel like Saliba's had a number of times as well where even on the ball he's kind of giving it away within build-up and it's cost Arsenal at times. And I feel like Gabriel's been that rock that they can rely on a lot more. So it's not that I don't think he's
everyone
great.
knows that now, no? Like,
yeah, but for a long time I'd say that Saliba was seen as like that's the best one, that's the best, going to be the best centre back in the world.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's there.
I would say Saliba is underrated because of how good Gabriel is and how much the praise has swung that way.
Maybe that will become the case now. I'm not disputing that, but as in for a long time,
it does.
I used to get a lot of slack.
It does flip flop.
I think Gabriel's better.
The thing is, I think they're as important as each other, and it was especially like 22, 23. We were so heavily dependent on Saliba's pace. Gabriel still had a couple of clangers in him. Then it took a little bit of time, but then I think last season it probably swung Gabriel's way. Swung. But then I still look at like Champions League against Real Madrid where we don't have Gabriel and it's Saliba and Kivior and Saliba.
It's a bit of a Conor Bradley for me where I'm like, I just think Real Madrid are crap.
Maybe. No, but because I've seen that so many times with Saliba. Like I think it's probably very, very difficult for you to find a player that was overrated at Arsenal. So I'm not going to hate on any.
Easy.
You know,
like I said, I think that was a bigger compliment to the man alongside him.
Yeah.
I just think,
I looked through your whole squad and I thought, God, you could go for anyone here, really, but settled on it.
All right, mate. I could have gone Romero.
If any of you had gone Romero, I would have lost my head. I would have lost man on the spot.
And I'd have gone, see, point proof.
Yeah.
I was going to say, start of the season, it was like Arsenal signed the second coming of Christ from Chelsea, wasn't it? When he beat a man against Forest. It's like, whoa, he's way better.
I like Madueke, to be fair.
I like Madueke.
I like
far clearer than Eze.
There you go. I don't think any of us had any real rotten ones.
Szoboszlai will get flamed.
I think there are some of the early ones at clubs where...
No, these will go down really well, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's ones at clubs that we maybe don't watch as much. The people will be like, you've just got that wrong. Fair enough. We may well have
you
done.
watch them every week.
Yeah.
Like, no offence.
I've seen loads.
Surely even Burnley and Wolves fans understand that we're not going to tune into Burnley and Wolves every week.
Yeah.
Even Wolves and Burnley fans don't want to do that.
Wolves aren't watching Wolves anymore.
And once again, overrated doesn't mean bad.
Yes, exactly. But that will never ever... That will never help your case.
De Ligt is going to get done for that.
Yeah, De Ligt was actually a bit of a...
Yeah, that was a bit of a stick.
But look, that is it. If you have enjoyed the video, please do make sure to subscribe, like, all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
And
we want to hit 10k.
By the end of the year.
I want to hit 10k.
Please. Working very hard.
I enjoyed that. We'll catch you all on the next one. Goodbye.
Adios.
In a bit.